Hey, what's going on, everyone, and welcome to Movie Therapy, where I chastely talk to you as my audience, the therapist, about a movie that I've seen, and let's just have a genuine conversation about it. You know, maybe if I'm like on the fence about something, I can land to a conclusion, or at least hopefully so, by the end of the conversation. But I just want to talk about something with you guys, and the movie I want to talk about is Jurassic World Dominion. Now, this is the sixth film in the Jurassic franchise, and this one goes as follows. 4 years after the destruction of Isla Nublar, dinosaurs now live and hunt alongside humans all over the world. This fragile balance will reshape the future and determine once and for all whether human beings are to remain the apex predators on a planet they now share with the history's most fearsome creatures in a new era. Funny that they don't mention locusts. You know, with this plot right here, it sounds intriguing, right? What you just heard, which is the plot from IMDb, it is basically what is summarized in like the first 10 minutes. And they never explore that. And instead, locusts are kind of brought into play as the main through line. So someone should change that on IMDb. Anyways, you know, going into this, I wasn't super excited about it. I think Jurassic Park 1 is one of the best films of all time. I think 2 and 3 are entertaining enough. And I thought Jurassic World was just okay. I'm just tired of these movies, and I never saw Fallen Kingdom, so, you know, here we go. Will I be able to comprehend what's going on with Chris Pratt and Bryce Dallas Howard's character? Who knows? I'm pretty sure I can. Anyways, so not super excited or thrilled to see this, but I was just curious on how they were going to integrate the legacy characters with the new characters, how they were going to kind of conclude this whole thing, because I think it's actually being marketed as the epic conclusion to the Jurassic era. Are they going to be done making these movies? No. They're going to make more of these in the future, absolutely. But I think for this storyline, I think it's done. And I never saw a trailer. I saw a Super Bowl spot, and that was about it. So kind of just jumping into it like blind. I have no clue, especially not even seeing the previous one. So I saw it, and I have the same thought process as I did with the first Jurassic World, where this is fine at best, completely unnecessary, feels kind of lifeless, and I got bored with it and just really kind of sat there contemplating why they made 6 of these when it is tainting the name of the first one, because the first one is so good. So I don't know. I feel just kind of very blah after this. So, you know, kind of jumping into the actual story. Like I said up at the top, it's really interesting that this is the plot to the movie, but genetically enhanced locusts that are about to wipe away the whole planet because they're eating up all of our food and crops, and that's going to cause a gigantic collapse, right? I guess that would be interesting, but not in this type of movie and franchise. I don't know, the plot that I read to you with dinosaurs and humans living together and how they're just trying to navigate all that is more interesting to me. And I don't really know what the antagonist would be, or what the villain would be cutting through all of that, but they should have explored that a little bit more. And I think just summarizing it in the first 5 to 10 minutes doesn't do it justice. So I found it to be incredibly just a wasted opportunity to not really explore the themes and all that stuff that you could pull from that type of story, but instead we have something that deals with genetically enhanced locusts that are about to wipe away human existence through our through our crops. So that is your actual story, and the actual story itself is just very long, drawn, blown out. And honestly, the locust storyline is the only reason all 6 of those characters come together. From the new films, and then of course the older films, I feel like that is the only way they could get them all in the same room. But that also means to me that they weren't thinking about story first. They were thinking about how to incorporate legacy characters and new characters together. That was their main priority. They made it happen. Doesn't really make a huge impact. And to be quite honest, with the legacy characters, when they showed up and we'd have the shot with all of them standing and looking at each other and stuff, Universal was hoping for like that cheery moment, like, oh yeah, look at all these characters together. You excited about that? You know what's really funny is in my audience, I remember when that happened, no one even reacted. I think someone comically, like, kind of lightly coughed. You know how like when someone like bombs on stage and is completely silent and it'll have like a random, like just that's what it was like. So I think adding the legacy characters for the effect that they were going for didn't even work on that level. So what was the whole point of any of this? So yeah, I thought the story was kind of weak, definitely blown out, and just overdrawn for 2.5 hours. It should not have been that long. And incorporating all these characters just felt very forced and nothing natural whatsoever. It came from that. So story-wise, they don't really explore any deeper themes than genetically enhancement and everything. Like I get all that. Like people can use it for good, people can use it for evil. Do a little bit more with that. The reason why the first one works so well is because you're incorporating all of those themes explored. Like with man becoming God and like creating or basically resurrecting a whole entire species. Like there's great stuff with that, and then of course it gets into like the horror elements, and it feels like like a Michael Myers movie or something like that from like Halloween. Like there's purpose to the first one. It's just a fully fleshed out story with characters you care about, everything that's going on, and just the atmosphere and the way it's created. And it's got one of the most iconic scores. It's just some of the most iconic shots. To see it go from that to this and just feel vapid is mind-boggling to me. And so I just don't understand. Anyways, going back to like kind of directing wise, like what Colin Trevorrow did, he did the best he could. I'm not going to poo-poo everything that this man did on this, but in terms of creating like genuine sequences that were effective, whether it be to evoke terror or evoke emotion, there was a couple times where like that was effective, and some of the cinematography that was used and just the way it was kind of edited and put together, like there was some real tension there and some real creativity with some of the anxiety that was kind of permeating throughout with the dinosaurs chasing everyone. There was some stuff that was cool. Definitely could have been cut down, but I think for the most part, he did what he was set out to do. I mean, there's really nothing like too amazing about it where you're like, wow, that was some really cool thing. It was just more of like he was hired to do this because he's been a part of this franchise since Jurassic World. He completed the script. There you go. Like I said, there was a couple times where it was used to a creative touch in terms of the directing vision, but like other than that, it's just kind of like whatever. As far as the actual like performances go, Bryce Dallas Howard, fine. Laura Dern, Sam Neill, and Jeff Goldblum returning as their legacy characters. Whether it makes sense or not, I'm just going to talk about how they were as their characters. Jeff Goldblum has that sarcasm to him, that wit, that snapback, but also he's just a caring person. He returns to form. Sam Neill as Dr. Grant, he's not given a lot to do, but when he has his like line readings or whatever, he draws them out. He has some inflection with them, and you're like, okay, this is Dr. Grant. We're back with that. And Laura Dern, like she does the best that she can with the script, and I actually thought she was the better out of the three. Probably wondering why am I not mentioning Chris Pratt? Let me just say this up front. I am not one of these people that poo-poos on Chris nowadays for his religious stances, what he does outside movies. I'm not here to talk about that. I genuinely do not understand what is going on with this man in terms of seeing him in this film and some of the ones he's done recently. So that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about like what I've seen in the movies. I'm not going after him for other things because I know a lot of people hate him nowadays because of that, and the hate translates to the movies. That's all I'm doing. But I will say this. Watching him in this movie was really sad because he looks bored out of his mind. And he has been for the past few movies that I've seen him in. Now, Obviously, he's going to be in like Thor: Love and Thunder this year. He's going to be in Guardians 3 next year, and he's going to be in blockbusters until the end of time. But I don't know what's going on with him because I've noticed it, and it translated to this one as well. There was just no passion there. It's just everyone else is trying the best that they can. It's not, like some Oscar-winning script or anything, but, people turn out the best performance and they can elevate a script. With his character and his performance, I felt like he was elevating nothing. I felt nothing. And so, even with like Jurassic World 1, there was a sense of, of this raptor trainer that was trying to figure stuff out. And like, when he's thrown into the fire, basically, he has to survive. And like, he was a likable character, and his personality was witty. It was charming. And like, there was something there. But with this, it's just, I don't know what's going on with him, because he seems like he's bored half the time when he's in some of these movies. And so, yeah, I don't know. But yeah, definitely the weakest part, which is ironic because this is basically, he's the leading man of this franchise, of this iteration. So I just don't get it. Everyone else, take it or leave it. As far as the actual special effects go, some of the practical stuff, some of the actual production design was really cool. Really tapping into that science fiction, horror, just otherworldly type of place, just like what the first Jurassic Park did. So there was a couple of sets that were built and some of the practical dinosaurs that really kind of touched upon like what we remember from like the first one, and I think it works very well. And of course, you're gonna have to do CGI for other shots. That's understandable, but in that realm, it looked pretty good. As far as the actual visual effects go for the CGI dinosaurs, it is becoming more and more apparent that they are, in fact, computer-generated imagery. Can you blend it? Can you blend it in a scene and make it look a little bit more natural with the scene? Absolutely. But for some weird reason, most of the dinosaurs stuck out like a sore thumb, and it did not have the sense of compositing that even some of the previous ones have had. So I don't know. That was kind of weird. And most of these were in nighttime and kind of midday with shadows, so you can actually kind of like escape it a little bit. But even that, it was just very apparent, and it just the blending was just not. It did not work for me. It was not believable whatsoever. So, in conclusion, oh, and I forgot to mention about College Trevorrow, like, because this kind of escaped me. Like, I was going back to, like, he accomplished some things that worked really well. There was a couple of sequences where he was kind of tapping into what makes Jurassic Park great and this whole franchise great is the horror elements, mixing really well with the science fiction. And there was a couple of, like, boogeyman type scenes where the raptors were chasing or whatnot, and a very good use of light and camera movement and reveal, and, like, there was a couple of ones that, kind of got me. Even if they were cheap jump scares, they still got me. So I forgot to mention that. Some of the music, mixing kind of both worlds together, was fine. And of course, when all six of them were on screen, they had to do some iteration of John Williams' famous score from the first one. So, but yeah, I don't know what else more to say. It's kind of a lost cause for me. I have no interest in these films. I'm good. So, thanks to Universal for the ride, but that's it for me. Jurassic World Dominion, I will never watch again. It's a one-and-done situation. I will probably never watch Fallen Kingdom, and then Jurassic World, I have no inkling to. I'd rather watch 2 and 3, to be honest with you. I've seen Jurassic Park 3 a million times. I would rather watch that over and over again. So, that is my thoughts on Jurassic World Dominion. Thank you for joining me on this session of Movie Therapy. Hopefully, you enjoyed that conversation, and I want to know from you, like as my wonderful therapists out there, comment down below what you thought of Jurassic World Dominion. What do you think of the whole franchise? I just want to know all of that. And thank you for joining me once again. I am Chase, and I'll see you guys for the next one. Goodbye.